Good morning and welcome to the new episode of Dr. Lamba's Awakening. We have been seeing a lot of disturbance in the Northeast. Recently, by mistake, some civilians in Nagaland were killed. And that has created quite a noise and justifiable. But the real reason is not the killing of a few people. It is the alienation that is taking place in Northeast and the rest of India. And when we talk of Northeast, we think that they are one organic entity, separate from India. We do not regard them as separate provinces, 7 of them, and except for the locale and train, there is nothing common in them. And that's a tragedy. Not only that, because of the inbuilt antagonism with China, because of the Chinese aggression, we assume them to be Chinese, having extraterritorial loyalties. And that's why you must have read in the news that in many places people belonging to the various provinces of Northeast were ostracized and even assaulted. Normally they are derided as chinky eyes, Chinese, so on and so forth. And it's a fact that many of us are shocked with the recent mistake. With the army in killing civilians. But if I was to ask a normal, common Indian, would he be able to point out where Nagaland is? For them, there is no difference between Nagaland and Mizoram, Manipur, or Arunachal Pradesh, or for that matter, Assam. And that's a tragedy. Now, this is a very strategically important region of India. This region provides a rather sheer, a porous border. The hills are there, you can't demarcate the border as you can do anywhere else. And this porous border is with Myanmar, with Bangladesh, parts of China, Bhutan. So with 4 countries, you are having a border which is porous, which is not demarcated, which is not delineated. And it is 4,500 kilometers. I remember when I had gone to Mizoram for the first time, I went to Palakdil. Palakdil is a lake. And that lake is shared between India and Myanmar. We took a boat and sailed on to Myanmar and made some purchases and came back. There's no demarcation. People from Myanmar come over there. People from Mizoram go over there. So Palakdil is a common meeting place. But there's no demarcation. There are no border posts, no checks, no security. Now rebel outfits in Northeast have used this geographical position to the best of their ability. They've set up their camps in the dense forest of Myanmar, and Northeast also acts like a linchpin between Southeast Asia and East Asia. You remember in the year 2008, just a month before the Bombay attack, and mostly people have forgotten it, or they're not even aware. And even today we talk of the Mumbai attack all the time. But at the same time, just a month's difference, Assam witnessed a terror attack. More than 100 innocent lives were lost. There were 9 serial blasts. And would you believe not a single Indian TV channel reported it with the detail that they reported the Bombay blast? Isn't that a tragedy? 9 serial blasts take place, more than 100 lives are taken, and the whole of India is quiet, are not even aware. Sometimes we feel that as if Northeast is a region which is at war with India, which is not true. If you look at the history of Northeast, then you will find that in the last 60 years, this region has witnessed the birth of 117 rebel outfits. Out of these, at least 20 groups are still carrying on their operations. And by turning the pages of the list of the Union Home Ministry, you would find that across India, out of 35 militant outfits which have been banned under the Unlawful Security Act, are there. The killing of the group of miners mistaken for insurgents has also renewed the debate about Armed Forces Special Powers Act, commonly known as AFPSA. It was enacted in 1958. Most of them you might not have been born there. Home Minister was Govind Vallabh Pant, and he called it a very simple measure to control misguided Nagas indulging in mischievous activities. And that was a mistake. What should have been politically managed, negotiated and settled was handed over to the army, and army would behave in its own way. We gave army powers, sent them to Nagaland in the 50s, and from 50s to 2 decades of the 21st century, they are still there. Now, beside all encompassing shadow that Armed Forces Special Powers Act has, it has a shadow experience in the Indian mind from the very beginning. There was a exchange of letters between Vallabhbhai Patel and Jawaharlal Nehru about the latter's China's policy. Now, these letters are frequently cited to show that Nehru was not sensible and Patel had a far sight vis-a-vis China. Absolutely true, but shocking as well, because you would find Patel showed his absolute ignorance. A book has been published, Nehru, The Debate That Defined India. And that is about Patel's view about the people of Northeast. And that's it. Those views of Patel are held by 90% of the Indians. He wrote in the letter, the people inhabiting these portions have no loyalty or devotion to India. Even Darjeeling and Kalimpong areas are not free from pro-Mongoloid prejudices. Now that is wrong. As a matter of fact, this attitude has become a self-fulfilling prophecy. When I went to a trip of Manipur some time back, people routinely said things like that. When I went to India last year, I was amazed that are they not in India? When Sikkim was integrated in India, I was there and I went to purchase market something, and the shop was, how long would you Indians control us? You Indians. So as we drove to famous floating islands of Loktak, I remember the car wearing around burning tires in the middle of the road, and absolutely silent faces of the young men around the flames. I wondered, how could one describe the beauty of the landscape at sunset without mentioning the rifle-toting soldiers walking in a single way by the highway? And in the recent years, there have been efforts to be more inclusive about the Northeast. But 90% is just talk. And being inclusive should not mean setting up a palm oil plantation in Meghalaya, eating momos, bamboo shoots and pineapples, or boxer Mary Kom getting her biopic played by Priyanka Chopra, which incidentally was very sensible commercially, but it enraged the people in that region. They said, could they not find an actor from the region to play Mary Kom? And then more recently, the comedy drama Axon tapped into the real issues faced by the Northeasterners in Even cities like Delhi, in Delhi a Manipurian would be treated as a Chinese, as an enemy. And these attempts at inclusion are awkwardly ham-headed. Sometimes I feel that they forget, as I said, that these are different states with different culture, with different political affiliation. And the way we think Africa is not a continent, it's a country. We when we say Africa, we forget the difference between, say, Nigeria and Burkina Faso, Kenya, Uganda. They're different altogether. Same is about North China, Northeast. And I was reading Doris Lessing. She wrote, Africa is a country called that was designed by someone whose principal idea comes from the Lion King. It's absolutely mad. And that madness is not only there, it's here in India as well. Let's not forget that Northeast represents heterogeneity in its extreme level of ethnic, cultural, linguistic diversity. There are more than 80 different tribes inhabiting only Nagaland and Mizoram. And the ethnic conflicts in the region are reflection for numerous reasons. It's a reflection in the patterns of conflict. And these desires range from secession to autonomy. They are movements against illegal immigrants from Bangladesh and Myanmar. Myanmar they can still tolerate, but not the Muslim immigrants from Bangladesh. Ethnic conflict between themselves, intertribal warfare. And absolute when they come to other parts of India, out of the Northeast, then they feel that they are isolated from mainstream India. And then they think, why are they saying that we are Indians? They don't treat us as Indians. So this has resulted in violence and more mass mobilization. Look at what happened at Bitat riots. And as compared to Godhra killing, these riots took many more lives. And once again, not a single newspaper mentioned it, not a single TV sent its team over there. And the reason was that these riots did not get the coverage they deserved. Is it not an example of alienation? And since then, Brahmaputra water has been flowing, mud water has changed, but the things have not changed. North-East is still considered a buffer zone by the national media. And this makes those people feel that they are really outsiders. They are been reporting Northeast conflicts, tribes, underdevelopment since years. But now the time has come to come out of the ghettos. The problem is that the Northeast troubles, until they are negative in nature, do not attract the attention. And apart from the arrested past, the media and the politicians, they are the chips of the same block. They have forgotten that this region has enough potential to fill the coffers of Delhi. There's so much potential of commercial success over there, and we are ignoring them. Now the time has come to shut this habit of providing stereotype reports. Northeast has a blessing of Mother Earth, and nobody can deny that Northeast is a fact, and its outfits are from banned military outfits. There are 3 such outfits in Assam. There are 6 in Manipur, 2 in Tripura, and government has started the negotiations with 15 rebel groups, but they have not been demanded. As I said, the government is putting all these different groups in one group, and the demands of each group are different. The aim of these militant outfits is to secede from India. And if demand is met, that is the starting of the balkanization of the country. So that cannot be given. You remember the sheer neglect on behalf of Delhi towards North-East has given this a bitter attitude. When Atal Bihari Vajpayee asked me to conduct Arunachal Pradesh study and suggest suitable transport measures, infrastructure measures, I gave a report suggesting multimodal transportation system. We covered each and every village of Arunachal Pradesh. What happened? He had the vision, but was it implemented? Till today it has not been implemented. There was a great famine in Mizoram in 1966. Thousands of people died. And they did not get the help they would have got. Say, there was an earthquake in Rotu. Nobody went there. Nobody gave help. And the result was the birth of Mizo National Front. And they wanted then stopping of all connection between India, rest of India, and Mizoram. So they were protesting and nothing happened. And the Delhis, the Mandans in the South Block and the North Block, they have instant approach about the crisis. And then they lost opportunities and gave these outfits a platter. And as a result, North-East was a disturbed region and it continues to be a more disturbed region. The reason of feeling of alienation has been there since immemorial because they consider themselves to be the Pilton of Delhi. It is very important to recall of a historian Lokendra Arambam. There are 32 civil societies, organizations in Manipur. They combine together and he's a man and they say that when it comes to North-East, central government is only interested in the land, not in the people. Till today, they have not taken the developmental action either in Nagaland or in Manipur or in Mizoram. Some action has been taken in Assam, that's it. And these remarks received the support of American diplomat Henry Jardine. Jardine was a diplomat based in Delhi. I met him. He talked to me. He visited Manipur and at that time I happened to be there. And he sent a confidential cable to Washington in which he wrote, Manipur is less a state and more a colony of India. And it seems that the Manipurians don't have the same right as the rest of the Indians have. There are restrictions. There are separation. All that is absolutely uncalled for. And this statement of the US diplomat came as a shot in the heart of Manipuris. They were saying, look here, even the foreigners are saying it. So, this statement justifies the allegation that Delhi considers Manipur to be its colony. And blame, I'll say, lies with two parties. One is the politicians who don't have the imagination, and the others are the media. There was a 68-day economic blockade of Manipur. Young children and old people were dying of hunger and no action was taken and no news came. This crucial news of 68 days economic blockade was, but look at one-day blockade in Kashmir is blown out of proportion. The way the farmers' agitation received, media report being reported live every 24/7 as compared to absolute blindness to the 68-day economic blockade. And national channels and the dailies did not feel it necessary even to report. And then the national channel of CNN, IBN organized a panel discussion. And the banner was, is Manipur a part of India? The striking tale is that the editor-in-chief had to convince his producer for this panel discussion. And the surprising question the editor asked was, who is going to be on the panel? This reflects mainstream media attitude. Unheard social activist of Northeast, Iron Lady Sharmila, on the one, she took the fast at the same time when Anna Hazare was having the fast in Delhi. Both were the headlines in national and international media. But while Anna Hazare was covered tremendously, Sharma Tagore possibly got one paragraph. And it's amazing that a crusader like Sharma, who has been fighting for the last 11 years, failed to attract the attention of the national media. Why? Because Anna was more to the supposedly India-centric edition. The corruption has been there all the time. But when Sharma talks about it, that's not in news. When Anna talks about it, now basically it's a question of ethics of media and intelligence of the politicians. The Chandel ambush compelled us to raise this question. And to make this question Operation Specie, some channels claim that Indian security had killed 38 militants. That's horrifying. So, such operations do not call for chest thumping. They demand cautious reporting. So media shifts between either scandalizing and socializing these or ignoring it. A few years back, Nagas clashed with Kukis. 105 unarmed Kuki men, women and children were killed. And what happened? Not a single newspaper reported even the news. There was no report at all. Why? Why this happens only in Northeast India? One girl is raped in Delhi, which is absolutely abominable. And then all the political parties and all the national media think as if India is under a nuclear attack. One girl was killed in Hathras, and look how much media earthquake was there. And here 105 children, women, unarmed are killed and not a murmur. And then you want them to be loyal to you. The kind of the coverage that media provides to terror-prone areas like Jammu and Kashmir should be given to the Northeast. Then they will feel that somebody considers for them. As a matter of fact, the menace of red terror in Chhattisgarh, Bastar area, has also not evaded the eyes of the national media. They have considered that. But the same kind of attention, they are blind absolutely. So, even today we talk of Nellie massacre. But the infamous Assam agitation doesn't ring a bell. So, you have got to see that the center has to come with empathy, has to consider them as part of India. And I've seen even the ministers talking like that many times. Otherwise, and the media has to come up, till these two important parts of the Indian polity mend their ways, North-East would feel alienated, will feel like a stepchild. So, what we need is that North-East has come to believe that New Delhi is not interested in them, media is not interested in them. People in Delhi, Bombay do not regard them as Indians. So they have made up their minds to become the eyes and the ears of the respective communities. And this is a good thing, at least they are going to be vocal. The only thing is the violence should be stopped. And people should realize that North-East is a part and parcel of India. And what happens there is of national interest. You cannot ignore those facts by closing your eyes, which people have been doing. But would the people sitting in Delhi wake up? Would the media wake up to its responsibilities? And would the politicians understand their responsibility? I don't know. Time would tell. But I hope so. Because therein lies the salvation of India. If North-East continues to be in flames, be sure India would not be at peace. Thank you.